In today's video, we get back to tacking in that brand new hull plate, but we also remove rust using electrolysis. So we're going to take advantage of a bit of a blue sky day. It's forecast no rain today, but it's been raining already, which is pretty typical. But while we've got a bit of blue sky, let's get this tarpaulin on there if we can. Just waiting for the daughter and son-in-law to turn up. In the space of literally 10 minutes, the clouds are back again. I don't know how it does it. Anyway, son-in-law's here with my lovely daughter. Wellies have arrived. It's got wellies. You need your wellies in Wales. Okay, thank you, Jerry. Let's get a bit of this on. Ferociously strong tape, T-Rex. This looks good. Keely's come dressed with a...
in my beach bum.
Oops, I missed that, scanned too high. And your beach bum big, looks like a sleeping blanket. Hunter Wellies.
And I'm in my Timberlands.
Rachel's come
no coat.
dressed for a rave.
What are we doing?
Right.
So they're going down there. Right. We've got to unfold this. Right. And put it over there. Okay. So that they can pull it down. Because like, the problem we had last time was I were up here, your dad were down there.
Project
and
manager.
Every time I was trying to put it that way, wind come and took it with it. Took it. Right. And it all ended up piling up down there. Right, okay.
Thinks she's the boss.
Oh, I am the boss. Oh, where's your black hat?
Your black hat's in the back of the van. Right, so we've got to roll this out. Okay, I'm not sure which way it goes because it's rectangular shaped. So is it that way or that way? We'll see when we roll it out.
If you ever watch it sometimes when I'm there in background, you can hear it crackling.
Met when the leaves were falling, you felt like home. It was like you could see right through me, but now I'm all alone. I couldn't make you love me, now I know why. Two wrongs don't make a right. I know you don't deserve me, and I'll be alright. On my
Oh yeah. Yeah, so that fits.
looking back on the long cold mornings in your arms, the feeling of home seems distant now that we're apart.
That'll do, donkey. Alright, I can see that one. Right, okay, screw it in. Yeah, alright. So there we go, it's bolted on at the bottom, but we've also battened it on and screwed it on. I'll show you that from down there, and ratchet strapped it on. So hopefully the wind doesn't rip it off. Out of breath. Heavier tarpaulin over the top, battened on, strapped on. Hopefully it'll withstand the wild Pembrokeshire winds. Right, it's getting dark and I don't think it's nightfall. I think it's also these clouds, but it is getting a bit late. So there it is. There's the new roof back on. Hopefully that withstands the Pembrokeshire winds. We shall see. They're pretty wild. Back again. Another wet, miserable, windy day. How's the new roof holding out? Billowing out a little bit in the wind. Well, I hope it stays on. Let's go and have a look inside. So the first thing I notice is much drier. There's still some damp in this bike, but I don't believe that's new leaks. I believe that is just what was here yesterday. We've got water on the floor, but we're always going to get that because it rains. That's the outside just there. I'm going to get some more heating on and see if we can dry the rest of the place out. What I'm doing now is I'm taking a little bit of time just to figure out getting this plate in exactly the right place. And to do that, I'm using a laser. As you can see here, the laser's in line with the chine as it goes forward of the boat. This chine does need to be fairly straight. And also, this should give us a nice perpendicular line to that central datum that we did. You can almost see the green line extends to the end of the boat. You might not be able to see it, gets a bit faint at the edge. We've had some steel delivered this morning, a week late, but I don't really need it at the moment. But this big 7 metre, 50 mil diameter steel with 5 mil wall thickness is for the rudders. It's a bit big. I can only get 7 metres, so I'll just give it a chop with my trusted new battery operated JCB angle grinder. Here we go. Right, I'll chop a couple of pieces off. About this big. To say that I measured and cut those by eye, I didn't do a bad job. Really, 3 equal size lengths, much more manageable. Now I think with the use of this laser and moving things around and pulling on them and touching them around, I think I've got this plate in the right place, and things seem to, gaps seem to have closed up. I do have another pulley. I bought another pulley, but right now I'm not going to put it on. And the reason behind that is I think I've got this in great position. I've used the laser, I've used the measure, and I think this is where we're going to cut it. So what I've done now is I've tightened it up so it doesn't move, and I've got to get underneath the boat and start grinding the old hull, the rough edge of the old hull, to the nice neat line that we've got here. Let's have a look first of all. Okay, so she's in, almost ready to be tacked into place. What do we need to do now? Let me just show you the alignment. So aligned nicely. You see through that rat's nest. Aligned nicely there. Sags a little bit there. But what we'll do is we will tack weld it from the end, and we use dogs and wedges to pull the plate level with the plate behind it. I also need to leave a 2mm gap in that steel there. So the next thing I've got to do is just make sure that gap's 2mm. That's easy. I can use a 1.9mm grinding disc. We'll use a few of those. We'll use those as spacers. And then we'll clean everything up. We'll start tacking from that end, which is the starboard side, and the outside, and we will work our way in using dogs and wedges to keep the new plate flush with the old plate. But that's another day because it's dark outside again. Last thing I want to do before I go today is just get a bung on that deck drain. You won't believe how much water they dish out. Right, let's just put that in. Need to bang it in. Where's my hammer? Quick spray with oil, just soak it in. Okay. Okay, back again. Getting chilly, but at least I'm in focus. A bit blurry. At least we're dry. You can probably see here a little bit of damp left in the back corner. That's just from before, but now there's no new drips dripped in here. That's good. Oops. Struggling with this camera, keeping that gimbal in focus. It's absolutely shot. It's had that much water and grinding debris and things. It's struggling to do as it's told. Anyway, heater's going on. Let me get warmed up, and then we'll get back to this plate. Focus. Am I in focus? There we go. So today, it's time to try and tack weld in this plate and just clean up the old steel a bit and make sure we get this lined up properly and correctly. It's a fresh day, fresh eyes. Let's have a fresh look, but let's have some clean steel to do that with. The next problem then is getting this steel flush at the bottom. So let's just feel how much of a ridge there is and see if we can press this up. So it's a long way proud at the bottom. So I'm going to have to use, I think, a dog and a wedge. In there, we'll weld the dog on there and we'll put the wedge through there. Right, that looks like the best way of doing it. Let's give it a try. First of all, I've got to make some dogs and wedges, which I said I'd do in the last video when I was making the lifting eyes, but I didn't get round to it, so I'll do that now. So that's it, milestone. First tack weld, putting the new hull steel in. Okay, so the steel's in, it's lined up, it's cut, it's tack welded in one corner. I've checked the gap by putting a 1.9mm disc in, and that fits in there nicely. So what I want to do, because this plate still moves around with that one tack weld in, is get another tack weld but down at the side just to stop it moving around, and then I'll knock that dog off, because I'm frightened I'll knock that dog off and move everything again, and we'll progress with the tack welding. So I think we'll just get a tack weld down in this corner somewhere just to hold this plate in that position while we get the rest of the tacks in. So I should be able to knock that dog off now. So what have I learned today? What I've learned is that it's much easier to tack weld from beneath, because I've got to do the dog and wedging from beneath, and the reason I'm doing that is I need it to be flat at the bottom rather than the top if there's any discrepancy in thickness, because this is brand new steel, 4mm, and if the top steel 3.8mm, I'd rather the discrepancy be on the top than on the bottom. So I have to dog and wedge it from the bottom to make sure that that is the flat side. I don't think it makes much difference, so maybe I'm being a little bit over pedantic. The issue is though, is that it's much easier to tack weld from above, but that means dog and wedging it down below, coming back up the top, tack welding it, going back down, taking it off, dog and wedging it, coming back here on the top. And when you're a fat lonely dude like me on his own, that turns out to be hard work. So I've been tack welding from below, but tack welding from below is harder. The weld's nowhere near as nice. It works though. it's efficient, and maybe you know, a grinder and paint makes me the welder I ain't, but it'll probably do. However, we've hit a snag. We've almost tack welded it in, so I'm going to see that as a victory. But you remember I ran out of gas previously? Well, I was under there doing the tack welding and I could hear this whistling sound, and I thought it was the heater, so I turned it off and it still continued. It turns out that this regulator, this brand new regulator, is leaking, and I don't even know where it is. It doesn't appear to be on that thread. It's from under here somewhere. It's not on here. That's got a little rubber O-ring, and it really is whistling out, and I couldn't quite find it. So that regulator's dodgy. So what I'm going to have to do is, well, I'm going to take that back and order another regulator. But I am going to call this a victory. I'm going to say that it's more or less tack welded in. We only need a couple more just down here. So I'm going to find myself another job, and that job is going to be a job I've been wanting to do on the rudders. I'll explain in a minute. So these, if you remember, these are the shafts that come down from the helm, from the steering mechanism, down through the boat, and the rudders connect at the bottom on this flange. And we've removed these, and as you can see, they're pretty corroded at the bottom, and there's some corrosion and bits and pieces at the top. Now, I want to be careful with these because these do go through a tube. Oh, they're greasy. These do go through a tube, and I think it's important for smooth action that we don't harass the surface of these too much. So I want to remove the rust from these, and I've decided I'm going to remove it using electrolysis. So I'm going to get these back to the house where I'm going to set up to do that. I'm about to get myself into a lot of trouble. Rachel's away at the moment. She's gone to visit our eldest daughter, and while she's away, I've decided that I'm going to do the electrolysis on these rudder shafts in the kitchen because she's not here to tell me not to. Right. Let me show you. There we go. You can probably see the kitchen sink, and what I'm going to do first, let's just bring that up there, is just degrease these, and I broke the degreaser plunger to pressurize it, so I don't know how much pressure we've got left, not much. So let's just get some of the grease off these first, because they are greasy. I think I covered them with the AC50. Yeah. Oh God, it's gone all over the kitchen. Oh, all over the coffee machine, right. So we'll have to do the tops and the bottoms. You can't see the top separately because I don't have much material. Right, let's put these in. So the next thing I need is a sacrificial plate, and I've got one of those. I've cleaned it up. There's my sacrificial plate, cleaned up, so we've got plenty of exposed surface. We'll put that in that way. I now need a way of connecting these to my power supply. So what I've done, a little bit of a gap in the insulation here on this fairly heavy duty. I think this is 6mm. Multi-strand wire, and if I put that through there, and then what we can do is that will trap that, tighten that up, that's good, and then we'll do similar on here. So this provides a circuit to pump electrons, and the electrons will reduce the rust and they will oxidize the sacrificial plate, which is here. So that will go to the negative of my power supply. This I've got to connect to a positive. So what are we going to do? Right. And just in case you didn't know, but Rachel won't be back until after I've released this video. So when you're watching this on a Friday or whatever day it is, but if you watch it when it's released on Friday at 4:30, you'll be watching it at the same time as my wife. By about 5 o'clock, I think I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. First thing then, let's just crimp a lug onto here. One of these onto my wire. Right, so little drill hole in there, I think. Okay, so we have an anode and a cathode. So do you remember when I got the JCB pressure washer with a good discount thanks to Wade? And I gave you a link to click down below and told you that if you click the link down below that JCB said they would give me some influencer discount on further tools. Well, you did click the links and I did get some discount, and that's why I ended up buying the JCB drill at a snip, and I also got the angle grinder. I've been after a new drill for a while because the DeWalt one I've got is really good, but it's not quite as powerful as this. This is quite a hefty drill for a hand drill, and I've been wanting one of the battery grinders for a while. So thank you for clicking those links. There's a couple more links down below. Same thing, it's just a spec sheet, it's nothing fancy, no discounts, but if you check out the spec sheet for the drill and check out the spec sheet for the angle grinder, there's a little cookie trail on there. JCB know that you've come from me, and they've promised me next free clothes. I can do with that. So they did say that they could hook me up with some free clothing. So thank you. Click those links down below. Get me some free clothing because I get through it. You should see the state of my jackets. But the next thing is to connect the power supply up. So the next thing we need in our electrolysis bath is some water and some salts to make it conductive. We don't use salt, though it's a little bit aggressive. So we tend to use sodium carbonate. So I've got some of that. I'm just going to warm some water up, chuck it in there, put some sodium carbonate in, and then we can start the process.
Met when the leaves were falling, you felt like home. It was like you could see right through me, but now I'm all alone. I couldn't make you love me, now I know why. Two wrongs don't make a right. I know you don't deserve me, and I'll be alright.
Right, we're partway through. Let's have a look how we're cooking. So we're on 12 volts, drawing about 2.5 amps. Still plenty of action going off. So a lot of that thick stuff's come off, but still plenty of rust to go at the moment. It's a bit late at night. I've got to go to bed in a minute, but look at the sacrificial anode. Plenty of rust on there. That's the sacrificial anode. So I'm going to leave that to cook overnight, and then we'll turn it around. We might give it a clean up and use some fresh solution. I'll show you the results in next week's video. In the meanwhile, thanks to everybody for watching. Don't forget, give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and until the next video, bye for now.